Lord Robert, very good morning to you.
Good morning, mate.
Thanks very much for joining us. I mean, that message I just got there from Nicola, I mean, I get quite a lot of those, you know, people who are fed up to the back teeth of working quite hard for most of their lives, being taxed now more than ever, finding that, you know, if they're running a business, they're likely to be less well off with national insurance fees going up. You know, farmers getting hammered, pensioners getting money taken off them. And now the Labour government have kind of come out and agreed with all of us and said, actually, you know what, it's not going very well. We're going to start again.
Yes, it is quite an amazing state of affairs. I think I may have appeared on your programme, and certainly one of the talk programmes in the run-up to the elections, and made the observation that one of the striking things about Labour's policies before the election was that they were describing aspirations.
Yes.
Now, it was pretty clear to all of us, barring some amazing turn of events, that Labour were going to win the election.
Yeah.
So they shouldn't have been talking about aspirations. What they should have been talking about was clear plans. Now, on top of those, the absence of clear plans, we also have the position whereby you've had freebies, winter fuel allowance, all sorts of different circumstances in relation to CVs, secretaries of state resigning. Now, some of those happened under Boris, for example, but it is striking that a party that was clearly heading for power just wasn't prepared for it.
Yeah. And yet they kept saying that they were. I mean, we were given many assurances, weren't we? I mean, from various different cabinet and potential cabinet members that, you know, we're ready to go in every single department, basically, whether it was the Home Office, whether it was the NHS. Wes Streeting was very full of ideas about what he wanted to do. And almost as soon as they got in, they sort of got the clattering train stuck in the mud.
Well, Sue Gray was specifically recruited to plan for the new administration.
Yeah, the first 100 days, right?
Absolutely. That was her role. Now, either, you know, she's no longer there, but the plans were never there, whether they were her responsibility or each of the shadow cabinet ministers as they were then, I don't know. But it is striking that every single time you and other interviewers asked Labour politicians, well, what is your plan? Well, this, and back would come the reply, well, we're intending to do X or Y, and they were strikingly nebulous.
Yeah, absolutely right. And unfortunately, as they've tried to do these plans that they've had, they've encountered either, you know, massive reactive problems, like, for example, the reaction to the budget is clearly not what they expected it to be. Even the OBR has sort of walked away from it, which is unusual. You know, the Treasury isn't happy. Nobody's really very happy. I mean, you know, I don't think there's one single person who has come out and said this is a good budget.
Well, I have one friend of mine who tells me that his parents are better off, but that is striking in that I can remember that one person.
Are they train drivers? I mean, those seem to be the only people. I mean, they have supplied money to the public sector, and they claim that they want to supply more money to the public sector. But I mean, this reset that they're talking about doing on Thursday, I mean, I think nobody's got any will left to listen to any more resets. I think the people have just had enough, really.
Well, I think that therein lies the problem, because having had the aspirations, then won a massive landslide on July the 4th. You've had a series of cabinet ministers saying, we are out to consultation on the following.
Yeah.
Well, they should have been in consultation for the 12 months before that, with a view to having an active plan when coming into government, knowing that events don't go as you plan.
Right.
It's supposed to have been Macmillan who said, events, dear boy, events.
Yeah.
Now, I'm told that he didn't actually say it by historians, but that, you know, you can plan and it might just work, allowing for other things happening. If you don't plan, if you just have a series of aspirations, whether it be on immigration or growth or the NHS, or, as you say, train drivers, you just give them a load of money. I used to be involved for many years before I entered the Commons in negotiating with trade unions.
Yeah.
Trade unions knew, and I knew, that when you met each other, you had to negotiate a deal which would involve job changes. It's called productivity. The government came in and just said, oh, we'll give the train drivers all this money, regardless. That's where a large part of the black hole came from.
Well, exactly right. And now, of course, Therese Haig was the first sort of candidate for the CHOP because of her rather curious story about a phone being stolen, which wasn't stolen. And nobody seems seems to have quite got to the bottom of that. We had the Labour government spokesperson over the weekend basically saying, well, you know, it's not that clear when we knew what we knew, and did Keir Starmer get told the entire truth? Pat McFadden went on television to say, well, you know, I'm not sure, I don't know about all the conversations that took place, because at the end of the day, if you're going to defend what she did, why did she have to go? You know, it's a very confusing picture.
There's no question that each time I read a part of the story or a report on her resignation, I seem to learn more about what had gone on before, right, and who said what to whom. We are still a long way short of being absolutely clear about what actually happened and what conversations there were between Louise Haigh and Keir Starmer.
Yeah, well, that's the other thing, is that because the way the media works these days is it moves very quickly through stories and kind of moves on to the next one. I mean, we've all really forgotten about what happened at the beginning of the administration with Lord Ali and what his role was and where he was going when he was going into Downing Street, and what conversations he was having with people about, you know, who would be appointed in various different jobs. You know, it's all still very much of a mystery to me.
It is a mystery, but tragically, the public at large have a cynical view about politicians. Yeah. They had a view about Boris Johnson and parties and all these sorts of things, and that hasn't gone away in the public's mind. It clearly still is clearly there. Yeah. But the significant thing about Keir Starmer was he came in and said it's going to be change. It's not going to be like Boris and Liz. Yeah. But unfortunately, what we've seen is to too much of an extent a repetition, because people have remembered Lord Ali. The comments you get about Keir Starmer, about whether that's his suit or Lord Ali's suit, yeah, about the spectacles, etc. People's memories should not be underestimated. It lasts a long period of time, and as I say, it goes back into Boris's time as well. But Keir Starmer, we haven't forgotten the freebies. Polls clearly show that.
Yeah, absolutely right. Let's have a look at what Keir Starmer said just before the election.
We've prepared this party for government. We've prepared all of our departments for government. If we are privileged to come in to serve our country, it will be public service for me, as it always has been, not self-entitlement.
That was before we found out about the glasses and the suits and, you know, the apartments and the holiday homes and all the stuff that they were talking about, which was not really about service at all. And this whole idea of, you know, they've come out with one slogan after another, and they seem to keep forgetting about them. You know, like the country first, you know, party second, that's gone. You know, change has now become plan for change. You know, government of service, no thanks. Difficult decisions. I mean, the list goes on and on, doesn't it?
I look at it through the eyes, as you indicated when you introduced me, through polling reports, yes, and what the public perceives. Excuse me. And there is no question that the fall in Keir Starmer's ratings, the fall in business confidence, have arisen from what Keir Starmer said before and what he's failed to deliver since. And as you said, I found myself looking at that clip you just showed, thinking, well, whose glasses are they? Who paid for them?
Exactly.
And unfortunately, that is clear. It's clear that that's how the public views it still.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely right, because those are the kinds of things that the public remember, because also they're reminded of them every time he's wearing his glasses in front of them. That's true. Lord Robert Haywood, great to talk to you. Thanks very much indeed. Tory Peer and pollster.